and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we're taking a look at two of the BeastBot action figures from Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Now these guys are at the higher $14.99 price point, so the basic figures are $9.99. These guys are about $5 more a pop. They're a little bit bigger. Cruz definitely has the action feature of transforming into a motorcycle, and Smash has some features, doesn't transform into anything, but we'll get to that a little bit later. I'm not sure if anything else is going to be continuing in this size class. I do know that the third BeastBot, Jax, is actually smaller and will be in the second wave of the $9.99 figure size. So I'm not really sure. Maybe there'll be some kind of gimmick figures later on that they'll do to keep the line going, and they'll be in this price point. I don't know if this was a once and done for this price point or not, but we'll find out. Only time will tell. As you can see here, again, you have the BeastBots. They each come with a key, which of course works with the Morphers, advertised here on the front of the packaging. Love the packaging. Everything for this line, packaging-wise, has been really cool, really fun, and really pretty. Go ahead and take a look on the back so you can see Cruz does transform into the motorcycle there. And then it shows off the other figures that are available. And then Smash, he's kind of hefty when you first pick him up. He's actually got some weight to him, which is pretty cool. He's got these firing fist gimmicks that of course we'll take a look at. So I'm going to go ahead, get both of these guys out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look. So here are the two BeastBots out of the packaging. We'll start over here with Cruz. I don't know how I feel about Cruz. He's got some issues. He's not great. He's not terrible. You do have to connect to this piece to the back. It's very simple. This pops in right here. There is a spot here on the back where there's kind of a hole in a peg, and you just pop that in, and then this part clips in up here. And then you can sit this very flush against the back, which I do like. I appreciate that. I think that looks good. I do think the head sculpt looks good. I think they did a nice job with the paint applications. You do have this kind of goofy, like muffler flick fire missile-y thing going on. You just kind of push it through, and it just fires. You can go ahead, that just clips onto his arm, so you can go ahead and take that off. And of course they do come with a key, so I'll take a look at the key. See, the legs on mine are kind of loose, but I'll get there in a minute. Don't fall over. So you have the key, and I do think that the detail on the key is very cool. I'll go ahead and flip that out, and you can clip that onto the arm as well if you want to give him like a bladed weapon. So you do have that option. Man, come off. There we go. So yeah, articulation-wise, the head can move from side to side and a little bit of up and down. The arms, unfortunately, just have a swivel at the shoulder. They do have a swivel here in the wrist. You can see starting here. But I don't know, it's not that great. It doesn't really help me out. I would much rather have, even if they just had an out to the side joint in the shoulder, I think that would make all the difference. The hips are a weird kind of joint where it feels like they're on a ball joint, but maybe it's just a really loose swivel. I'm not really sure what's going on, but you can see that they kind of move like this. They kind of move around. They're just kind of loose in general. You do have kind of a knee bend, but that's really because of the transformation. And that's pretty much it. So he definitely could use a few more points of articulation. And because his hips are weird, and because he's a little back heavy, getting him to stand is a little awkward. I mean, he'll stand. Once you get it, he'll stand. But it's just not great, unfortunately. I don't particularly love this thing, but it is what it is. If you want to clip it on, you can. Unfortunately, you cannot remove this back tire assembly. I wish this was something else you could clip on or have him hold, or maybe just pegged into the side of the back of his hand or something. That is in there with a pin, as you can see. You can see the light shining off of it. So that's a bummer. And these constantly, like, these don't peg in or anything, so they're constantly, when you touch the hand, they want to flap open. So that's a bit of a bummer as well. So, like I said, there's things I like, there's things I don't like as far as the robot mode goes. I'm going to take this stuff and put it off to the side, and we'll go ahead and we'll transform him into bike mode. I wanted to do a size comparison too real quick. So here is the Red Ranger action figure, which you can see is about the same size. So that's pretty correct as on the show. So we'll put him there for a second. You're going to take this, you're going to lift it up, and it's going to close over the head, line up the handlebars. You'll click this so that it's now the correct angle. Take the legs, and you can see that there's a little peg there, so that will peg in. And then you will come under here and flip up the legs, and they will just go like that. These will flip down, and then this, well, you'll see that there's like a little clip spot right here. That's where the other hand will go into. So if it could clip on for that hand, I don't know why I couldn't clip on for both hands, but whatever. And then this thing, which you can see that there's two pegs. Like, see how that sticks out almost like it should peg in somewhere? It doesn't. If they would have just put tiny little holes on his shins that this could have pegged into, it would have been perfect. And it would have been nice and solid, and I actually would have liked the bike mode. And it's not that I hate it, but it's just, it has a little kickstand, which is nice. But that should definitely peg in. Like, that's a big deal. This engine block should peg into the legs somehow. And there's really no reason why they couldn't have put just tiny little peg holes on his shins. It doesn't look that out of place. It wouldn't have really bothered me at all. And if I knew it served a greater purpose, I would have been completely okay with it. But there you go. We'll see if I can get this peg stand to work. Kind of, maybe. Let me angle this down a smidge. So, it's okay, but then you also have to remember that this is the Red Ranger that's supposed to ride it. This is like when when I would go to Toys R Us and see the little motorcycles for little kids. That's what I feel like the proportions are here. I mean, just to go ahead and show you how ridiculous this looks. Like, that's definitely too big. It's like the guys that ride the super tiny little motorcycles in that dome at the circus, which is impressive and very cool, but not something I'm looking for in my Power Rangers scale-wise. It's just, I get it, to make the robot mode in proportion with the Ranger size, so that the human standing next to the robot was about the same size. They had to downscale the motorcycle, which just, it looks a little ridiculous. And I mean, he can't even turn his wrist, so he couldn't even grab the handlebars as it is. But it's just, it's too big. And while I love these figures, I do still feel like they probably didn't need to be 6-inch. Like, they could have given us all the same paint and articulation in a 5-inch figure, and it might have worked a little bit better. But I still love these figures, don't get me wrong. I do love these figures. But it's too big to scale with this size bike. Next up we have Smash. And for a size comparison, here is the Blue Ranger. And they're roughly the same size. Smash looks like he's a little taller. So that's good. He should be a little bit taller than Blue, maybe even a little bit taller than he is. But that's not bad. I feel like they're decently in scale. They look pretty good together. I think that's cool. Gonna take him off to the side. So I definitely think Smash is the better of the two. Like I said, he's nice and solid. He's a pretty cool little figure. I like this gorilla head on the back to mimic what the Zord looks like. So that's really, really cool. Both his arms are these weird, like, fiery fists because they have flick fire missiles. And it's the same as the, like, muffler blaster for Cruise. You just push these, and they do fire decently, I have to say. You can see that there's kind of a fist molded in there. I think I would have rather they just be normal fists. Like, I don't remember the character in Go Busters ever firing his fists. Now, it's been a while, so maybe he does. But maybe they just dreamed up a feature for this toy. Either way, I would have rather they just fire his normal fists, because he's just walking around with these weird fiery fists all the time. Or they could have included a second set of missiles that look like normal fists. That would have been cool too. Either one. Having him walk around all the time with these fiery fists is a little weird. I will say it's kind of neat though. You'll see that there's a tiny little like bevel in the back of his bicep, so that when you push these all the way up with the missile, it fits nicely in there. That's like a little bit extra beyond way of thinking. I think that's pretty nice attention to detail. So that way you can have these all the way up while he's got his fists in, because it would look ridiculous if he couldn't put his arms straight without his fists. So I do appreciate that attention to detail. He does have the steering wheel face can turn. He's also got kind of a neck swivel thing going on. He's got the normal just shoulder swivel there, but he does have an elbow joint, and the elbow can actually spin. These pieces can come unpegged if you want, and then he has a little bit more range of motion there. But they peg in and they snap in pretty securely. Doesn't really have anything in the waist, but he's got a front kick in the waist, or in the hip rather, and then he's got 90 degrees in the knee as well as a swivel there. So he's definitely got way more articulation than Cruz does, and overall I just think he looks better. I really love the head sculpt. The face is really nicely painted. I like that quite a bit. The other thing you can do is you can actually take this off. It just clips on very simply on the back, and you can clip it over here as a kind of like a shield, which is kind of cool. And the other thing is, if you take the key, and I love the key. I think the key is really well done. If we go ahead and click this out, really nice detail there. Let me zoom in here. Really nice detail on the face of the gorilla on the key. I think that's really cool. The yellow paint on the side is a little messy, but it's not terrible. So you can go ahead and clip this on the other one, and then he's got kind of a sword and shield thing going on, which that's kind of cool. I do like that quite a bit. So I think this guy's really neat. I like his features. Let's slide this off and then peg this back in. So yeah, I really have to say, out of the two, I think this guy's better. I think he's got better articulation. He's just a more solid figure. He stands a lot better. And just overall, I think this guy's pretty good. Alright, let's go ahead and try out our keys in the Morpher.
Let's smash this! Blue Ranger, you're so brave! Let's smash this!
So those are pretty much your two new phrases. Then if we go ahead and morph with this key in.
Are you ready? Say it's morphin' time!
Yoo-hoo! So kind of the standard morph sounds, nothing really that exciting there. And then we'll pop in the cruise key.
Moto mode activated! Let's take a spin in the Racer Zord! Moto mode activated!
So there you go, those are your two new phrases with that one. Morphing will just do that same sound, so there's nothing really new or exciting there. So yeah, one last thing, I forgot to show that you're supposed to clip this onto his forearm in bike mode so that you angle it up and it looks like an exhaust, like a muffler on the side of a bike, which I have to admit, that looks kind of neat. I don't know, just these two guys, them being an extra $5 a piece is kind of a bummer, I have to say. I don't think they're like rip-offs or anything like that, but I don't know. To me, they're just not quite worth it. I would have been just as happy as if they had done them... Which side breaks off this side? If they had done them in the $9.99 price point, even if Cruz couldn't transform, like what they should have done is they should have just done both of these guys in the $9.99 price point. No action features, just give them decent articulation, and then do a special transforming version of Cruz that was bigger and make that like $20, and then, you know, that way you could choose which one you want. It's kind of like when they would do like the transforming Voltron or the action figure Voltron in the Playmates line. Do something like that. We don't really need this. I mean, I will say that Smash is decent. I really do think out of the two, Smash is not bad. I think he looks good. He's definitely got some heft to him, which I appreciate. The firing fist gimmick is fine. I just wish his fists were normal colors. And he's got decent articulation. I mean, he's got 2 points of articulation in the head. He's got the elbow with the swivel. He's got the knee with the swivel. He can kick forward. I feel like that's pretty good for, you know, what he is. He's a gorilla robot. He's probably not the most agile. He's built for being tough. So I get that. I really think Cruz could benefit from A, having a shoulder joint so he could go out to the side. If you could just clip this in, if it would just peg into the back of his hand, instead of, I mean, the way it clips to this one, it clips pretty strongly. I feel like they could have done the same clip for both. And if he would have had just tiny little peg holes on his shins so that the block could then peg into his legs for a more secure vehicle mode. I think those things would greatly improve him. Also, I wish he was a little bigger, since the figures are 6 inches now instead of 5. That's like I said, I would just keep this guy as he is. I mean, honestly, I would take out the fist gimmick, maybe make him just slightly smaller to fit him into that $9.99 price point, and then I would just make like a $20 deluxe transforming Cruise that was a bigger motorcycle, so it made sense with the 6-inch figure, and then that way they could spend a little bit more on, you know, those things that I talked about. And then if they, that way they could also make just an action figure version of Cruise in the $9.99 line, and then people could choose which one they want, or get both. Honestly, I'm hoping they still do like a normal $9.99 version of Cruise that can't transform, just because I like the character and I like the suit, and I'd rather have one that doesn't suffer from these problems. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with these. If you have to pick one, I would say definitely get Smash. If you have to get both, fine. Just know what you're getting into. But yeah, $15 a piece. That's a bit much for what they do. I think Smash is worth it. Cruise is a bit of a letdown, but I still wanted to get it because I really like the suit. But if they do make a normal $10 Cruise, I'll totally be picking it up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.